So I'm driving, and it reminds me of over the weekend, we went down, my wife and I, and some friends, we went down to a museum. We went down to the Getty Villa, which is in Malibu. To get there, you gotta take the 10 freeway. To get home, you gotta take the 10 freeway. So, took the 10 freeway, and you gotta merge onto the 405. So if you live in the LA area, you're pretty familiar with how wildly congested the 405 freeway is. It's one of the worst freeways ever, really. 101's pretty close, but the 405, no matter what, is always really congested. In fact, one time I was going down to my grandma, she lives in Seal Beach. I was driving there from my house, and if there was no traffic, it'd probably take me, I'd say maybe an hour and 30 minutes, something like that. It took us 3 hours to get there, so that just gives you an idea, for those of you who don't live in the LA area, how congested the 405 freeway can be. Anyway, so I'm merging onto the 405 from the 10, and it's completely packed. You know, it's completely bumper to bumper. The bumpers crammed up against each other, basically. And it made me think, what would our traffic system be like if people were willing to create space for the yielding or merging drivers? I wrote this in a little, I guess I'd call it an article. It's my What the Heck article of the newsletter, so all of you folks have already read that article. And what I think is, and I've always felt this way, and I try to drive this way, I feel if everyone let one person in, or a few people in, or whatever, if everybody was willing to just merge and not push up against the next driver, that I think it would flow a little more smoothly. That's my feeling. I just think it would. Now, I understand that you're just going to have congestion no matter what. If you have a lot of people in one area, that's going to happen. But it could at least flow. It may not go 100 miles an hour, but I think it could at least flow if we were willing to let other people in. At least one or two people. I mean, what it is really just create the space. And like I said in the What the Heck article of the newsletter, that sort of has become a metaphor for the way in which we actually treat each other. We don't really allow space for the personalities of other people. We're so quick to judge people. We're so quick to sort of condemn them to the dark places of our mind. We place our harsh opinions on them, and we're not really open. We're not open to allowing space for however people are expressing themselves in life. So I think it's kind of a funny little metaphor, and we're so busy, pushing ahead, tackling the next moment, if you will, that we don't have time. We don't have time for idiots. We don't have time for stupid people. All right? Well, guess what? We're one of those stupid people. We're pushing right ahead, just like the next person, and we can't recognize it because we're so filled with the next thing that we have to do. So I thought it was kind of fitting. It's like, why not create a bit of a following distance, right? When I took driver's ed, they say, do about a 2-car following distance. That way it allows for, if someone's going to brake, that you have time to stop. Or if someone cuts in front of you, you're at least giving them space to get over and things like that. Well, let's do that in our personal lives with the people that we're surrounded by, the people that we're not always, we can't always choose who we spend time with, especially if you work in an occupation, you've got people that you didn't hire, unless you're an owner of your own company and you can hire people. Even if you do that, you're subject to their different personality traits that you may not always like every single one. Now, I love my wife, but there's certain things that I don't always love what she does, and I'm sure it's the same with her. But because we allow space for each other, we can accept and appreciate the differences that we have. So why not do the same, like I said, in our personal lives? I'm going to follow the advice of my driving instructor, but I'm going to take it off the road and into my personal life, into my human life, and create some space I'm going to give everyone about a 2-car following distance. I'll let you know how that turns out. Talk to you later.